Hi guys, I'm Brittany Powers. This is my Module 12 assignment for EDL 854. For this assignment, we looked at a case study called the budget debacle. So what happened? The Briardale Supplementary Funding Foundation hosted a fundraiser selling raffle tickets. Those who purchased tickets were gambling to win a cash prize. The event was planned by Mr. Barley, who was the new president of this foundation, and this event was supported by the principal and the entire foundation. During the event, a local sheriff arrived and arrested Mr. Barley for his participation in the fundraiser. His participation involved proposing and executing it. The principal was humiliated, and the reputation of the Briardale Foundation was seriously damaged. This all happened the night of the raffle drawing. It happened at the elementary school. The people involved were Mr. Santos, the school principal, Mr. Barley, the new president of this foundation, a former Harvard student, local sheriff, parents of students, community members, school site curriculum committee, and all the members of the Briardale Foundation. Let's take a look at the legal issues and ethical issues. On the legal side, my question is, did they obtain a license from the State Revenue Department? Most states have a law that requires you to have a license in order to host a raffling event. They also regulate who can have a raffling event. And if they do approve the event, most states have a state auditor that needs to be involved to help regulate it. Next, let's look at the ethical issues. Was the best interest of the students really prioritized? Understanding Mr. Barley's history with being a Harvard student and having a former competition with another local elementary school's president of their supplementary curriculum foundation makes me think that he was focused on the wrong reasons, and maybe he was aware that the raffling fundraiser wasn't completely ethical or legal, but he knew it would be the most successful and he did it anyways. I don't know, it's just a thought. Another ethical issue would be what systems of transparency were in place for the collection and allocation of money. Next, would excessive funds raised produce a lack of equity between Briardale Elementary School and the other schools in the district? And last, should an elementary school promote gambling? I'm not sure. It really depends on the area and the community that they're located in. Next, I synthesized this situation in one sentence. Greed and legal oversights result in a school facing a damaged reputation, as well as limited funding to support student development. The next section, I consider the factors that are known, and I also consider what is unknown. The people I know are Mr. Barley, Mr. Santos, the members of the Briardale Foundation, and the sheriff. I don't know who tipped off the police, and I don't know if district personnel was really involved. I know this happened at the elementary school, but I'm not sure how the raffle tickets were purchased. There are also laws in some states that regulate how raffle tickets have to be purchased, and they don't allow raffling tickets to be purchased through certain machines. What I know about the program is that this elementary school in this district in particular, they have a successful football program, but as far as curriculum, they just kind of put an emphasis on basic skills instruction, and anything supplementary has to be provided and fundraised for at the building level. I'm wondering if this might be a Title I school, and maybe they'd be eligible to receive some grants to help provide that supplemental curriculum. If they were, that would really change the way I would go about this situation moving forward, but I don't know that. Next, let's look at the stakeholders, how they are impacted by all this, and if they were consulted or not. First, let's look at students. They're looking at a potential loss of music, language, and art classes. Doesn't seem like they were consulted. Next, let's look at teachers. They're looking at losing all those classes too, having reduced access to resources, and a reduced access to collaborating with those supplemental curriculum teachers. It does seem that some teachers were consulted because the teacher leadership is kept in the loop about the supplemental curriculum fundraisers because they have to approve all of that. It's just a protocol, and Mr. Santos always forwards them the plan. So some of them did know. Some of them may also be members of the Briardale Foundation. Next, some families were consulted too because some of them were members of the Briardale Foundation. Others were not consulted. The impact on families is their children are losing out on special school experiences and being enriched in those ways. The Briardale Foundation is facing a loss of reputation, and they're looking at a future of having a really difficult time fundraising. They were all consulted, and they agreed to this plan, though. Last is the principal. He was really embarrassed. He's going to have a difficult time executing any of his school vision, especially if it was tied to goals that involved supplementary curriculum and enriching student experiences. He was consulted as well, and he also agreed with this plan. The information I'm lacking is what kind of funding the school has available to them. Next, I will demonstrate my capacity to develop a plan to evaluate resource needs, use data ethically and equitably to develop a multi-year resourcing plan aligned to school goals and priorities, and advocate for resources in support of needs. So I have 4 options. Option 1, Mr. Santos ignores the negative attention, avoids dealing with it, just changes the subject whenever it's brought up by teachers and families, and accepts the fact that students are going to suffer, and he just waits till next year and sees what happens. Option 2, Mr. Santos fires all the leaders in the Briardale Foundation. He disassembles the whole thing and makes this fact public. He disowns the group and their actions and makes a public statement declaring, "Our school will be better off with less than to have money earned in an illegal way." The next year, he takes fundraising into his own hands. Option 3. Mr. Santos issues a "we messed up, here's what we will do better in the future" kind of statement to the community. He then partners with legal and financial advisors to help him create a solid set of guidelines to improve, revamp the Briardale Foundation for the next year. He also renames it just to help with the whole reputation thing. He spends the rest of the year focusing on living simply with his school, promoting the new vision, and rebuilding trust within the community. He cuts costs wherever possible and saves at least one supplemental class. He allows the students and teachers to vote on which one they want to keep. The last option. Mr. Santos puts in a great deal of effort to partner with community members for the remainder of the year. He just gets creative. He partners with artists, business owners, park owners, anybody who's willing to offer something free for the kids so that they have unique and cool experiences. He also gives teachers a creative hour in which they can go on walks, read with their kids outside, do art and STEM projects, anything that's fun or meaningful for the kids that doesn't have to be tied to core subject standards necessarily. And then he just kind of lays low when it comes to fundraising for the rest of the year and tries again next year to rebuild that trust slowly. Next, I'll demonstrate my capacity to understand the importance of how to evaluate, develop, and advocate for a data-informed and equitable resourcing plan that supports school improvement and student development. I'll do this by evaluating those options I just presented. So option 1, Mr. Santos has a freed up schedule on the weekends. That's one pro because he's not really doing anything. The cons are he's damaging all his relationships with families, teachers, and students. Students are missing out on those special experiences, and he has a continued loss of respect from the community based on his negligence. Option 2, I accidentally swapped these two, so bear with me. The cons would be he would be stretching himself thin next year, taking on all those fundraisers by himself, and because of that, he probably won't do well with them. Next, he would have damaged relationships with the Briardale Foundation. He may lose respect for disowning a group that he previously agreed with their decisions, and students will still finish off the year without that supplemental curriculum. The pros would be he might regain some respect for some community members who just wanted him to dismiss the foundation. Option 3. The pros are he would allocate resources and be cost effective, promote collaboration, inspire staff to try new things. It would be the most financially viable for the future of the school. And it would support teachers through creating positive learning conditions, allocating resources, constructing appropriate organizational systems and policies for the Briardale Foundation moving forward. It would be set up for success, better and more ethical practices, and then trust would be regained with the community slowly but surely. The cons for option 3 would be it's going to be hard work. He's going to have to stay consistent and expect that it's not going to go perfectly and people aren't going to open their arms wide for him right away. And students will also miss out on some of their favorite classes for the rest of the year because he is being financially mindful. Option 4 would promote collaboration, inspire staff to create those new creative ideas, promote academic success and personal well-being for the students. It would help give evidence that students are being prepared for college, careers, and futures. It would support the students' learning and development, influence their achievement by giving them challenging and supportive conditions. However, staff could feel overworked. It's also going to require a lot of work on his behalf and staying consistent. Community trust might not be regained because you're not really focusing on them, which could be damaging in the long run. And then the Briardale Foundation still doesn't have that good structure that they need and that they were lacking before, and they still are going to be needing updated policies. So the option I chose was number 3. I would issue that statement. I would work really hard to rebuild trust and relationships with the community. I would be mindful of costs. I would try to save one class and allow students and teachers vote to have which one they want to keep. I would first share these decisions with my internal group, so district mentors, teachers, and students. Then I would branch out and share this with the Briardale Foundation, then with families, and then finally I would try to get it out to the community at large. We would be determined to stay flexible, creative, humble, and transparent. Next, I'll promote my capacity to use my understanding to undertake and implement this work within a school setting. So here I actually implement the decision. I'm really going to have to connect with those legal and financial advisors to create a plan. I will present this plan to my internal stakeholders and try to rebuild that community and unity. Issue an apology statement and share the plans for improvement. Stay transparent. Build relationships one by one, work with my teacher leaders along the way to help allocate those resources, vote with the school which resources they want to keep, stay consistent on relationship rebuilding, stay consistent on sharing this on social media so that the community sees it. I would seek and take advice from all my district leaders along the way as well. I expect that the Briardale Foundation will be more successful in the future. Relationships will be built. The future success of the school will be secured financially. Teachers will have a chance to get creative. Some teachers may complain about the extra work and leave, so there could be some turnover. But this could weed out some of the not as great teachers as well. So some wins, some losses. And then community relations would be rebuilt slowly. However, Plan B, if the district doesn't agree with this line of thought, especially with the financial management, I would ask for their advice and then just submit to it. I would go with the direction I was given, and I may need to utilize more creative problem-solving strategies like I listed in option 4. So just connecting with community members to provide more opportunities for students, focusing on that instead of rebuilding relationships and trust within the community. Here is my reference, and I thank you so much for watching and bearing with my fast talking. I've really enjoyed this class, and I've learned a lot. Thank you.